2.
Happy?
Perfect.
Perfect. First of all, I just want to talk a little bit about, you've had some recent birthdays in the family, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't know that Bruno Fernanders was going to be such a big fan of Paw Patrol.
No, obviously my daughter was already a big fan. Probably she's the biggest fan of them too. But obviously the other one is growing up. He has the toys of the sister. So I think he's probably Paw Patrol and Spider-Man is the two ones that he's recognized more.
At what age did you start to be crazy about football?
So obviously all the mom says that, but my mom says even when I was still to born, I was already kicking her all the time. I don't know if it was because I don't like her or but she always said that since I start walking, I was kicking balls and playing around. My father used to play on the Saturdays with his friends, obviously old people in his 40s, 30s, some of my bigger cousins that they are really, it was old when I was like 12, 13. I always want to play with them. Obviously my father most of the time he didn't let me play because when you're young you're a little bit, you don't think about, so you want to do all the tricks, all the stuffs, and when you play against old people they start kicking you. So my father sometimes he doesn't want me to play because also he was kicking me, and he was pretty strong when he was about to kick me. So sometimes I play, other times don't. But with my brother, yes, I was always playing. He's 5 years older than me against his friends. So it was always good games for me to improve and to get better.
But it's funny, people always say when new players, particularly from abroad, come to England, they might be surprised by the physicality and how strong the league and the players are. But you were playing against men when you were 12, 13.
Yeah, that's what I think. I always said for myself, and I always said to everyone, like, doesn't matter if you are 17, 18, and you start playing for the first team, they will be older than you. Will always be people older than you. Even when you arrive at your 30s, can be always someone with 32, 33, or even 38, 37. So they will be older than you. They still have more years than you, more experience. So it's about you getting used to play against older people and try to be smarter than them, try to understand what you can do if you are not stronger or if you are not quicker, what you can do, what you can use, what can be your weapons to beat them, to be better than them. So improve yourself, that's it.
How much do you think about that before a game and then during a game? Because I imagine you will watch a clip of the player that might be marking you before the game, but then actually once the game starts, how much are you thinking, oh, I think I might be faster than him, I think I might be able to do him with a trick? How fluid is that?
Oh, obviously the manager always show us the base of the team, and so we can understand where will be the spaces, where probably will be better for you to be in position to get the ball, in position to get your shot, in position to get your goal or assist, or in position to create space for other people. So we always know what kind of player we're playing against, but at the same time, what kind of team we play against. But because sometimes it's more important to know the team that the player because the play can be subbed after 5 minutes or less. For me, that play as a 10 is finding the positions that are never occupied, or basically sometimes like the dead zones where no one can see you or no one can mark you, because if they mark you, they will create a bigger space in the middle of the pitch for other people. So for me, it's about moving around and understand the spaces that I can create or moving to.
And you call them the dead zones? The death zones?
Normally, I call that the referee zone, because normally no one marks the referee. So he used to be free. So normally, sometimes what most of the coaches say to the players that play between the lines, even the wingers when they want to come inside, the striker when he wants to drop, the midfielders, they always try to say the point where the referee is always a good point, because no one is marking the referee. So sometimes you use that, but you know that the position of the referee most of the times is different, because it can be a counter. Even when you're playing, sometimes it can be in the opposite side where you are playing at, and you cannot move from one side to the other side. to get that space. So
Do you think the referees know that the number 10s are thinking where
no,
they are?
I don't think so. But it's about number 10s, number 8 wingers. As I said, and it depends on the moment, on the way the referee whistle. Because, for example, Mike Dean, that is not whistling anymore, he was not. He was most of the times in the central of the pitch. So for us, it was not about getting in his position, because he was really central for the game. Because for him, probably was better to see the game. But for us as a position, that cannot be our position. So you have to find out where you can go. But obviously, for me, playing as a 10 is trying to be between the lines, between the midfielders and defenders, and try to find the spaces where you can be free to receive the ball and be dangerous for your team.
Obviously, at the moment, I think it's probably fair to say it's one of the happier periods at Man United compared to maybe the last year or so. The last few weeks has been really encouraging. Four consecutive wins in the Premier League. I know you're going to say we're not getting carried away, but I suppose I just want to take you back a little bit to, I was there against Brentford the second week of the season, and after 35 minutes you look at the scoreboard and you see 4-0 Brentford Man United. What's going through your head at that moment?
No, I said that after Brighton, obviously, and obviously getting that result again, even worse against Brentford, was really bad for us and for our confidence. Because against Brighton we felt that we're playing really good, and all of a sudden we concede a goal, and you could feel it between us, between the fans, in the atmosphere, that was like getting back to the past, and everyone felt that the confidence get low again. Everyone was a little bit like, it's not like afraid, but not feeling the best to take the ball, to do your best, to trying to create something. You felt like sometimes you say the ghosts from the past. And against Brentford was even worse. We conceded a goal from nothing, and all of a sudden you couldn't see that the energy of the team was low. The confidence was low, and this was from everyone, not just one player, two players, and everyone in the team knows that the Brighton and Brentford game was not the beginning of Brighton, yes, but not the rest, was not the standard that we can deliver. So obviously I could feel it after Brentford on the training sessions that we were going to do something different. I don't know if we're going to get the same different result, because it was a big game against Liverpool. We want that. You could feel that everyone wants to change the momentum. But was everything perfect? Obviously, we get the first shot, Anthony get the post. After that, we scored a goal. So the momentum was for us. For the first tackle was our with Licha. You get the game on that. You get the fans go on that one. So you could see that the moment was there, and you could see that the team, the confidence of the team gets higher and higher, and we scored a goal, and we could feel it that we can be dangerous. We can score goals. We can be dangerous for Liverpool, and you could see that Liverpool was not taking that many risks. So they start to have the ball, but we felt comfortable also saying like, we're compact, and we know when we recover the ball we can be a threat for them. And obviously after you get a good result, and from there we build the momentum.
And after the Brentford game, that was, you had a week basically to prepare for the game against Liverpool, and I think most people outside of United, outside of the training ground that week, were thinking last season 5-0, 4-0, you lose first two games, and I think for supporters there was a little bit of dread and a little bit afraid to go to that game at Old Trafford that night against Liverpool, thinking, what's going to happen to us there? Now, in the newspapers, you'll know that the day after, everyone was talking about you did a lot of running at the training ground. Even the head coach was doing the running as well. How did the new head coach, Erik ten Hag, start to rebuild the confidence?
No, he just went straight to his rules, to his demands, to what he wants from us, what he knows that we can do it. He showed us that we did this in the preseason in many games. We did many good games. We did what I want to do. I want to play with intensity. I want to play with always pressing on the ball. I want to have players hungry to do good things, to fight for the team, to be tough to beat. And obviously, as I said, we know that the fans was afraid of that game because it's normal. Liverpool is a big team. Liverpool has big threats. No one was expecting Liverpool to come to our home and lose that game. No one, even if someone more a part of us in the dressing room, if someone says no, I knew it that United was going to win that game, is a lie, because no one was betting. Even if you know that you can get a big amount of money on a bet on Man United, no one would bet in Man United in that game. And only ourselves, and that's what we pass between us. Like, we have to believe ourselves and trust ourselves, because no one else will help us in that game. No one. So it's about us. It's about us doing our job. About us between each other, support each other, be positive, bring positive energy, be always demanding from each other, but demanding in a good way. And was, as I said before, we had a few tackles in the beginning of the game that you could feel, and you can pass that vibe, that positive energy, that togetherness, that fighting spirit between us, and from there you start.
And certainly, I mean, you mentioned Lisandro Martinez, the intensity and energy that he brought. I don't think I've ever heard the height of a player mentioned so much since he joined the club. What do you think he's brought to the club, and what's been your initial impression of what he's done for the team?
Also, obviously, he brought, as you see, he's really aggressive on the ball. He's kind of an Argentinian player, Argentinian centre back. They always like that. They have that fighting spirit, but also quality on the ball. He has showed that. Obviously, that can be good and can be bad, because in the beginning I was kind of like that and was really good for everyone. And obviously, when you get with some games and you get not the results, everyone will blame you for doing that. Everyone will saying that he's not good enough. Why is shouting? Why is tackling? Why is going against him? Why, But I like that. I like his energy on the pitch. I like him to be aggressive in that way. I like him to shout. I want him to be tough to beat. I want him to be against the defenders, against the strikers, like he does. Because this is what I get as a number 10. They do this to me, so I want my teammates to do the same for the other teams. And obviously, he brought that energy and that intensity, that passion that Argentinian players have. The Latin players normally have like a fervor blood, so it's kind of normal. But is about controlling the emotions, and he's doing that really well. And
is he tough on you in training?
No, it can be. He has no option with me, because I'm more tough than him. So if he kicks me, I will kick him back. So, and I like that. Even in training sessions, I want him to be tough on me, because in the games will be like that. He knows that in the beginning was a little bit more with Eric Bailey. He was always on me, and he was always saying, I can't catch you. Because every time I come to you, you pass one touch. If I don't, you control the ball. And I was so that they make a decision. And so from there, every time that I get the ball, it comes and it just slap me straight away. You can give me something with the knee, with the elbow, whatever, and we carry on. This is what it is. And the games, even obviously, in the games I show it a little bit more, and I want to make it that a reference for the referee, because I want to take my part on the game, to take falls away from them, to make them angry because I go down and the referee gives a foul, will give a yellow card, and I get momentum from that.
I do want to ask you about the way you are on the pitch, because I think maybe if people don't know you, sometimes they can look at the way that your hands are waving, whether it's at the referee, sometimes at yourself, your frustration at yourself. Do you need to do that to bring the best out of yourself? Is that what's happening, or are there times where it's actually a little bit, you're not fully in control? What is it?
No, that's my passion for the game. Is the way I is. I'm honestly, what you see on the pitch is the Bruno that is passionate for the game, the Bruno that wants to win the game. the Bruno that will not give anything away, even with the referees, with the rivals, everything. I can even fight with someone that is my friend out of the pitch there, have a fight, have a proper game, intense, strong, over and over, and that's it. I play against Wolves. They have many Portuguese players. If I have to kick them, I will kick them. If I have to moan at them, I will moan. It's the game. It's the way I live the game. It's the way I have to be. For me to be involved in the game, I need that. I did that to feel that I will be at my best. Because I did many games when I was quiet, and no one said nothing about that. But for me, it was not me in the game. I didn't felt myself. So I need that to be alive in the game, to and the part of moaning of the referees, honestly, I play for Man United, so I know that all the cameras are on our players, and everyone is saying that. Everyone does that. Everyone in the Premier League does that. If you're gonna see players from Crystal Palace, for example, Za is always moaning to the referee because he gets fouled, but that's normal. It's normal that he moans to the referee. He wants his fouls. He wants the referee to give yellows. I don't know. Fernandinho, for example, that was at City, he was always moaning to the referees. He was always kicking me, and I never saw someone saying something about that. Bernardo, for example, that you see as a quiet person, is one of the guys that always talking to referee. Probably doesn't do in the intense way I do, but he's one of the guys that is always on the referee, always talking. I saw it in the national team. I can see it. I know. So it's the way you are. Obviously, I'm probably a little bit more intense, more passionate. I show it more. But
do you think the referees enjoy it a little bit, having
yeah, sometimes some of them, yes, they like the way I am, and they kind of joke with that also sometimes. One of the referees, I don't remember who was, he said, "Oh my God, Bruno, every time that you're winning, you're such a good guy. When you're going losing or drawing, oh my God." I will say this, probably you have to cut this. You are a pain on my ass, and I like that. I want to be that. I want to be there. I want the referee to feel that I'm there, pressing him and always talking and shouting at him. Is the way I live the game. As honestly, the thing that most of the people say, waving with the arms for my teammates, that's never happened. Is completely lie, because I can be using my arms to ask the ball. To tell them something, to move the ball to this side, see that side, but never in a bad way. I will never do that. I can shout at someone because if he doesn't pass the ball when he has to do, or because he didn't take the best decision. If he goes 2v1 and he doesn't pass the ball to his teammates, yes, I will shout at him. I will be angry at him, because I think that's quite normal. There just should be.
And that's part of being a demanding team.
I demand a lot from me. I don't demand more to anyone than myself, but because I demand so much from myself, and I know that my teammates demand from me, I demand from them, and the same way. And I demand it for me in a good way. And I always said to everyone, if anytime you don't want me to talk to you, you don't want me to shout at you, you don't want me to help you, you can tell me, and I will be quiet with you in the game. After, don't tell me that I don't call you man, or I don't call you to pass the ball. You tell me the way I want to be. And I had a conversation, for example, with Tyrell the other day after the Leicester game. We have some play, we have the ball, he's coming through with the ball. Obviously, we're winning 1-0, we have to rest, we have to have the ball. And he's trying to have the ball. He did it in a good way. He passed it to the side, he wants to keep the ball there, but I was completely free in the other side. So because Leicester moved so much to that side, he could just switch the game, and I have the ball on that side. They will come again, we'll make them run, go backwards, go to that side again. And I was sometimes in the pitch you have to shout because you cannot hear the people. It's too far the distance. And I was playing right winger, he was left back, so the distance was really big. And I was saying to him, Ty, just put your head up and look to the other side. And he was like quite angry because I was talking to him, and because he didn't understand what I was saying,
He just sees you going, asking for something.
And at the end of the game, I went to him and I said, I put my hands on his head, I put my head with him and said, when I talk to you, I'm not shouting at you, I'm not doing it in a bad way. I was just saying to you to switch the game. He said, yeah, sorry, I was tired. And I said, don't worry about that. For me, it's just communication. We have to talk. It's about that. He said, yeah, you're right, sorry. And this is what it is. And in some game, probably will be him shouting at me, and I will be okay with that. As the way, like, for example, Age, once in Europa League against Copenhagen, we winning I think it was for, quarterfinals or something. Someone give a pass. We defending for so long because we played like 120 minutes, I think. Someone give a pass. I tried to control and go away from the defender, and I lost the ball. And he shouted at me, "Bruno, hold the ball." And I was quite tired, angry, and I said, "Hey, don't shout." The first half of the extra time stopped. I went to him and said, "I'm sorry to get back to you." He said, "You're right. I should have all the ball, you know." But sometimes during the games, it's intention, passion, ball. You miss the pass. He missed the pass. He doesn't run. And the moment gets a little bit further. But it's not. No one does, I think, in a bad way. And honestly, this is me talking. I never do it in a bad way. Only, as I said before, if I see that someone doesn't pass the ball, easy one, a 2v1 with the keeper. For example, Jadon scored a goal. Now I'm getting long, but Jadon scored a goal against Chelsea when he was 2 against the keeper with Marcos. And he did skill. Mendy went there and he scored the goal. I went to him and he had scored a goal. And I went to him and I said, "Next time, make sure that you pass the ball to Marcos. That is the easy way to score the goal." And he said, yeah, you're right. But,
Would you have passed the ball in that situation?
Yeah, in that situation, I had one with Mason at Brentford. Obviously, sometimes, when you do a 1-2 and you get the ball quick, keeper is coming out, you don't get the time to look to the side. So you get the ball, want to control and shoot. You have to be quick. And that times, I understand you can't watch to the side. But when you have to run with the ball for so long and you have a teammate on your side, don't tell me that you didn't see him, because it's a lie. So with Jadon on that one was the case. But anyway, I said to him, "You score, I'm happy for that. But next time, make sure that you pass the ball to Marcus."
I want to talk to you a little bit about when you first signed for Manchester United, because you'd had a fantastic season, I think the year before with Sporting. You, I think, scored over 30 goals from midfield, 33?
32. They take one away from me, but that's okay.
So they take one away. And then I think I'm right in saying that summer Tottenham was pretty close.
Yeah.
Was it deadline day?
It was long, but yeah, it was until the deadline. Yeah, it was a long period, but obviously at that moment was a really good option for me. I want to go to the Premier League. Obviously the manager, Pochettino at the time, was the one that wants me there. And in my head was a good offer from them. Sporting tried the best to keep me, and they sell other two players because they want to keep me on the team. So I had to understand that, and obviously I have no regrets for everything that I've passed to Sporting, because that was my best years as a footballer and as a person. Where I learned probably the most and where I was happier the most until now.
How does that work when you're a player and you have the dream for the Premier League, but you also have this big connection in your heart at the time with Sporting? Does it work with? Is it the president that will talk to you, or the head coach that talks to you, or the players, or is it everyone?
So the president talked to me at that time, but he talked to me in the wrong day. It was the day after he decided to refuse the offer from Tottenham. And obviously, I was pretty angry at that day, and I had a bad day that one. And luckily for me, the manager was the right one at the right time, because I had a bad training session. I was not there with my mind. I was really angry. I was not doing the right things, and in the middle of the training session, I understand that I shouldn't do that, because the manager came to me and he said, "Bruno, if you want to go inside, you can go. I understand your frustration. I understand everything." And from there, in 1 minute time, I said to myself, if the manager has to come to me and said that he understands my frustration, everything, why should I be like this? They know that I'm frustrated. They know that I would like to go. It was a big offer. It was my dream to play in the Premier League, and didn't happen. And from that moment, I said, like, it's nothing that you can do to go to the Premier League now. So make sure that you keep doing the best for the club that has put a lot of money on you, that has believed on you when you're still really young and in a good age to do your next step. and the club that gave me the chance now to be at Man United. So that's why after that season that we won 2 cups, that was really important for us as a club and as a players. Obviously, before all we passed in the previous year was something fantastic. So from there on, I carry on, and I said, no, I can't do this to this club. They don't deserve me to be in this way. And I had like a 45 minutes bad training session. And from there on, I had some good conversations also with my teammates that make sure that I was at my best level. And I did 15 goals in the alpha season there with Sporting. So makes me be ready for the next step with United. Was not at the time that I was expecting, because I was not expecting to come out of Sporting before that season, because we struggling that season, and for me it was like, I don't want to finish in this way. But for Sporting was the moment, because at that moment they need money, was struggling financially, and I think was the best help that I could give to the club at that time was taking that decision.
And this is then January 2020, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the manager at Manchester United at the time. I think he and Mike Phelan, the assistant manager, came to watch one of your games at the start of January to watch you in person. And actually, one of the things that I think we've written previously is that they actually liked, even though I don't think you had necessarily the best game that day. I think you played Porto, and I don't think you had maybe the best game, but they liked the personality that you showed on the night. When did you start to realise you're going to sign for Manchester United?
Was everything really quick. I knew that was something going on in the last 15 days, because my agent knows. I always have said to him, don't talk to me until you have something to me to sign, and I can decide yes or no, because I want to be full focus on football. I never, honestly, the first time that I spoke with a club for a contract was here at United, because the club asked to speak with me. I never spoke about, my agent always did everything. I know that people probably will say, oh, the agents, they always take money for themselves. They will take money for themselves anyway, because it's the way he is, it's the way he works. Nothing you can do. But I really trust my agent, and I think that he will get the best from me. And so my job is to maintain the focus on that, and his job is to get the best he can from me. So I never did anything like being on the meetings as a contract and stuff. Never did that, and for me it was okay. Even when I did my renews at Sporting, my first contract at Sporting in Italy, everything, and none of that time. Just this time, because the club asked to speak with me. If not, was him doing everything. And obviously he said to me, like 15 days to go, he said, Bruno, just to make sure, be ready. Could be a chance that Man United is paying the amount that Sporting wants, because was already conversations between them and Sporting, he said, but they still have to agree a deal. And I said, okay, I'm okay with that. He knew that was my dream team in England, so that's why I said, you don't need. He said to me in the beginning of January, he said, you don't need to be worried. If anytime I bring you a club, will be a dream club for you. So he knew that was Man United. So probably that's why he said that in that time. Obviously, Ole was a big part to that, because as you said, he went to see my games. You know that sometimes the manager has to see the players in person, and obviously he saw me moaning a lot in that game, because the games against Porto I moaned and a lot against their players, against the referees, against everyone. So against everyone that is against me, not with me. So he saw that personality, he saw that kid that lives the game, is passionate for that, and I think was that makes him sign me for the club, because he said that in the first day. He said, just be yourself, because I know what you're capable to do on the ball, but I want you to be the leader that you have been at Sporting. From the first day he said that to me. That's why I'm being the same Bruno as always at Sporting, because Ole brought a player that he wants to be the same straight away, and that's what I did.
And I think also Ole has said previously that he spoke with Cristiano to see, maybe because I think you'd played together obviously with Portugal, and he would have seen a lot more of the Portuguese league maybe at the time. So you also had a pretty good recommendation from the history of United at the time.
Yeah, of course. He said that to me, and obviously when I went to the national team, I said thank you, Cristiano, for the words that you have given to me from myself to the manager and from to the club, and obviously when you have someone like Cristiano saying good words about you, makes the club think that it could be a good choice, and obviously I was really happy that he did that and he said that because, as I said many times, he was my idol growing up, probably my first, the player that I followed the most. So was really important for me to have that kind of recommendations. Also because when you come from the Portuguese league, is always someone asking and doubt if they will be ready for the Premier League or not.
Do you care when you're saying there'll always be people doubting, questioning? Do you notice? Do you see things?
I knew it. I was ready, so I really don't care about what people was thinking or expecting. I was ready, And since day one I came, I've heard people that says every time they sign a new player, they need 1 year or 2 years to adapt in the Premier League. I'm now starting my third full season. I never had that time to adapt because no one could say that I was not ready for the Premier League because I came and I was ready and I did everything, and every time that I had a bad game in the first few months, no one ever talk about now I still adapt to the Premier League. No, and that's good for me because I like that people expect a lot from me and demand from me and talk bad things about me because that make me feel like, and I came almost at the same time as Nicolas Pepe, and at that time he was really good. When he came on to the Arsenal team was really good, and he had some bad games and everyone was calling about yes, still to adapt and stuff. But when Bruno was having a bad game, was just because he was moaning or because he was not focused on the game. And for me, that was good because they knew it that I was ready. So they could feel it, and that's why they was demanding from me.